What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dog Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I am ready to go. We've got week 2 all wrapped up. We got games to go over. We're going to see where we were right, where we were wrong. There were some tough beats, bad beats even this week, but we still came out on top. My man, Evo, you were up in Minnesota. Your boys had a tough week. That hat is fire. But how was the trip, brother? How you doing? Welcome into the show. How are you?
Yeah, look, I'm tired. It was a long weekend, and there was a rough kind of end to it going up to Minnesota to see that home opener, which was really a travesty. But I do have some positivity to take from it, even though there's very little positivity to be found from that loss. But it was a fun trip. It was, obviously feel very blessed to be able to take my wife up to Minnesota, see my old stomping grounds, take her to her first ever professional football game to get to experience, the home opener atmosphere, Sunday night football atmosphere, the school chant, all that. Got to see Jared Allen get his Hall of Fame ring induction ceremony, which was really cool. Overall, good experience. Obviously not the way that we wanted the game to go. And that really sucked, but had a really, really fun time up there. Got to do some cool stuff. Got to go see US Bank Stadium, do a tour of that the day before the game. Was out there with the Raw Dog patches. Might have left a couple of those in different spots around the stadium. I'm sure they just got tossed, but you never know because we couldn't do any videography in the locker room as they were literally putting out the shoulder pads and helmets and everything for the players. But that didn't mean that we weren't able to walk around a little bit and see things. And got the Sunday night football booth and stuff that we didn't get to go into, but we did get to go into some of the other announcer booths and some of the journalist booths and stuff like that, and see the seating chart for where some of my favorite Minnesota sports journalists were sitting, and maybe just leave a patch here or there, and they'd be like, "Oh, what is this?" Maybe it's stuck there through game time. Probably not, but you never know. It was pretty cool.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe things got left in a locker or two. Just I don't know. We wouldn't want anyone in the league to be angry at us or anything like that. Even though we keep our takes pretty raw on the show. The raw authenticity is what we're all about. But yeah, so like to kind of encapsulate that experience, my wife actually made a TikTok which caught a lot of traction, and it was probably because people were hyped for the season home opener about to start, and got over 10.2 thousand views right now, almost 1,000 likes and everything. I'm gonna pop that up on the screen so people can kind of see what my little trip home was like, especially on that day.
Hear the roar, Minnesota coming for more. Raise that horn, pound that drum. Lombardi's where we're from. Fans go crazy. Wild up scene. Best in the league. Purple machine. Golf in Detroit. Paper king. Lions roar soft. They don't bring a thing. Caleb and Shy. Rookie dreams fade. Bears still stuck in that same old shade. Micah and Green Bay, wrong damn star. Packers lost, don't know who they are. NFC North Bowl, crown in hand. Vikings rule this frozen land. From the Dome days past to US Bank now. Minnesota faithful, fight that fight. Cold wind cutting, fans don't bend. Purple blood to the bid.
So yeah, it was a really cool experience. Got to go on the field, Got to throw my wife a touchdown pass in the end zone that the Vikings weren't able to get into at all. But for what it's worth, no one got into that end zone. The only touchdown scored that night by the Falcons was on the opposite side of the field. So that end zone is still a virgin cherry as of right now. So, but yeah, really, really cool experience. I got to doink a field goal, so that was great. They had one of the Sunday Night Football guys like setting up a camera in the field goal post, and everyone's kicking field goals, and he's just like duck and diving because I don't know that anyone made anything while we were out there. Yeah, it was a really, really cool experience getting to see stuff and the inner workings. So anyone in the Minnesota area that is looking to do that experience, the touchdown tour experience, it's a little pricey, but it's totally worth it. 2-hour guided tour. Our tour guide, Kim, and his wife, old retirees that are showing people around, really did a great job. Cool experience. Tons of history stuff in that stadium. Like, they are all about the history of the team and having legacy artifacts around there. So really, really cool to see all that.
Yeah. You brought up kicking and doinks. That there's going to be a theme from this week that kickers still continue to suck. That's what I saw a lot of this week as I was watching games. Man, that looked like an excellent, like, badass experience. When I found out about the skull chant and like how intense that was and the way it all goes, I was like, man, this is such a cool vibe, cool atmosphere. So getting to see that on national TV is cool, knowing that you guys were there. Also badass. I was looking for you. At one point, I thought I saw your ass, but it was just another gentleman with a red beard.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it is one of the coolest experiences in that stadium. I had not gotten to do the skull chant with that crowd before, and videos do not do it justice. As everyone's clapping and the drums are going, you feel it in your chest, like the boom of it all in your chest. And it feels like such a crazy experience to have 70 some odd thousand people all unanimously doing this thing at once. They got that going while the snow machines are going, because yes, they have it snow inside the stadium with snow machines, world's most giant snow globe. It was really cool to see and be a part of, even though again, the ultimate end experience did not turn out exactly how we wanted it to.
Yeah. I got not confident here. He was a better kicker than Jake Moody.
Hey, look, I doinked it. Hannah thought it went in still. It did not. Got to call a spade a spade.
On replay review.
Yeah. Did not turn out great there.
You want to say hi? Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey. But hey, before we get kicked off into the rest of the show, we do have our sponsorship for the week, and that's the sponsorship or cease and desist series that we're doing. And I honestly very surprised that this one came in. The sponsorship was not something that I had prepared for. So just understand, these aren't my words. These are straight from the sponsor themselves. So without further ado, are you tired of your football team winning games or playing a competitive brand of football? Do you long for a coaching scheme that screams mediocrity? Well, boy, do we have the product for you. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. That's right.
Oh,
The 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. 2 times. You know what that means? Apparently absolutely nothing, because those awards don't come with the ability to call a fucking play that doesn't end in a 3-and-out. Stefanski has mastered the art of taking an NFL roster and making sure it looks like a mid-tier MAC team every single Sunday. You need to put together a comprehensive game plan that focuses on your team's strengths? Nah. Kevin will just dial up another surprise screen pass that loses 3 yards. Want some halftime adjustments? Forget it. Kevin doesn't adjust. He just stares into his laminated play sheet like it's a goddamn IKEA instruction manual while hoping that the other team somehow forgets to play football. It almost worked in week 1 versus the Bengals, not so much in week 2. And don't worry about accountability. Stefanski's got you covered there too. He'll never admit when he's wrong, never tweak the play calling correctly based on the situation. And why would he? That would require acknowledging that the problem isn't the players or the refs or that Mercury is in retrograde. It's just Kevin. But hey, Andrew Berry's just going to keep on nodding like a bobblehead in the passenger seat of a car when Jimmy Haslam's going to be too busy lighting piles of money on fire to notice. So Stefanski's job is safe. As long as the bar for success is just don't publicly shit your pants, I guess. So if you want land press conferences, fourth down punts from the opponent's 40, and a coach who somehow makes playoff appearances feel like it's a once-in-a-decade sort of an event, look no further. Kevin Stefanski is turning excitement into disappointment since 2020. Kevin Stefanski football. Buy your tickets now, and remember, hope is non-refundable.
Man, I'm touched. From my head coach, I cannot believe that he would be so willing to sponsor today's episode. Once again, Kevin Stefanski is not an official sponsor of Raw Dog Sports. But if he doesn't want us to say bad things, he can send us a cease and desist.
Yeah. And look, based off of 2 weeks right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin O'Connell decides to sponsor the show at some point in time very soon, because man, as much as I love KOC and I love what he has done since he's been with the Vikings, the first 2 weeks of play calling, like he has accountability, but the play calling has just really been tough. So I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to my game.
Yeah. Man. Well, listen, man, I'm ready. We can hop in.
Stefanski.
Yeah. I mean, the answer is Stefanski. But it's not by a lot, because I've been out on Stefanski since the article came out where basically he didn't do any coaching or correcting or accountability with the guy that is a $230 million quarterback. From that moment, I was like, okay, this guy's obviously a fucking putz, and we need to move on. But I think that Andrew Berry has maybe struck some gold with this rookie class. We have a lot of nice pieces from this rookie fucking class.
Yeah, look, you've got some good performers. Again, so for everyone's knowledge, I'm going to do my best as I can to recap stuff that happened over the weekend on the show. But I was out all day at US Bank Stadium, so I didn't get to intimately watch all the games like I normally do. I did get to watch a good portion of the Monday night games, despite flying back here to Arizona. And I tried to catch up on the other games as much as possible while on my flight from Minneapolis to Phoenix. But it's not the same as getting to sit down and watch everything kind of happen. But Quinshon Judkins, as I understand, got to play a little bit in your game, or was that
he most certainly did, and he looked very good doing it.
Well, obviously we'll get into that when we do get into it, but on maybe more of a lighter note, maybe more of a happier note, especially from us here at Raw Dog Sports. If you followed Mike and I with how we were betting over the previous week, you might have made yourself some money, because we've been hitting it gangbusters.
Yeah,
we've been doing a great job here. This was our last week picks. Again, we pick money line, spread, over, under. We've kind of taken the cuffs off and allowed ourselves to go buck wild with these bets, but making sure that we give you our bet for each game, where we would be going with it. And look, 10-6 for you, 13-3 for me. We're both hitting over that 65% mark. I mean, you're at 65.6. I'm at 78.1. It's been an awesome first 2 weeks for us as far as getting these games correct. And through the first couple weeks of football, that's not always an easy feat, because, again, we don't really know who these teams are until we get a couple weeks into the season. So not too shabby here on our picks.
Not bad at all. And listen, I feel like a couple of these I could have had. Now, your Indy plus 2.5, that bet still pays. But God damn it, Denver, we cannot. Come on. The game's won. That 60-yard field goal had no shot. It never even got fucking close. But that penalty, I mean, that's a bad beat. I feel like that's a bad beat. That sucked. And then, obviously, Baker, I have to watch him kind of rip my heart out there at the end of that Houston money line. But I mean, worked out for you. God, Baker, when we get to that game, he played so well. In the moment that mattered most were times in his past where he kind of crumbled under pressure.
I actually saw something on X today that kind of resonated a little bit. That was I think that the Browns could, like, the only thing that would change Andrew Berry's legacy with the Browns is getting to a Super Bowl. Not even winning it, but getting to a Super Bowl. But until that happens, his legacy forever will be he chose Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield.
Right.
And that's a tough pill to swallow because of how good Baker has been.
Yeah. If Baker, for some reason, takes his team to the Super Bowl in Tampa, that team's pretty damn good. I mean, you would have to fire just the optics. The noise would be so loud here in Cleveland that entire regime would have to go.
I mean,
especially coming into a year where you have 2 first-round picks, you're going to be looking at potentially drafting another fucking quarterback. Like, there is absolutely no reason to keep them around if Baker proves like that he can lead a franchise. Now, I understand a lot of things happened with Baker from the time that he left us to where he's at right now. Matured a lot. But it still doesn't spell out that Andrew Berry made the right decision. Hindsight is 2020, and it was very clearly the wrong decision. So yeah. It's tough. There's a chance that they are gone, especially because they can reset this year with a brand new group with 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, it does make it an enviable spot, and that's what I was going to say. Is I think regardless of the Baker situation, I mean, obviously your coaching staff and front office have to be on notice after how things have gone through these first 2 weeks. But that being said, are you ready, buddy, to jump into a recap of our games? Absolutely. All right, first up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Cincinnati to play the Bengals. And again, the Bengals don't really look like they are the winners at the end of it, except for when you look at the scoreboard. Bengals win 31-27. Joe Burrow out with turf toe. It's a significant injury. People think, it's a toe, not a big deal. However, it's those ligaments and everything at the big toe joint basically separating from the rest of the toe. It's very painful. You walk all the time, so you are constantly moving that toe, and it doesn't get a chance to heal. Significant loss for Cincinnati. It'll be interesting to see how they react going forward. Jake Browning, one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league, but even then, he still has his stumbles in this game. But it just felt like the Jaguars, to me, lost the game more than the Bengals won it, despite the fact that the Bengals did come out on top here.
Yeah, so this was back and forth. I did not expect this type of matchup, but obviously when Burrow goes out, you think there's going to be a tighter game. Trevor Lawrence played well in spots, but 2 massive errors. The Bengals' rush defense was still fucking porous as always. But they just found they have enough juice to score enough points against pretty much anybody unless it's the Cleveland Browns, apparently. They're going to find ways to get Jamar Chase the ball against damn near everybody except for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he went off. Browning can get there. Like, it was just, they were pitch and catch anything that they wanted against this Jacksonville secondary. And honestly, Jacksonville has a reason to be upset. The thing that set this whole win up for the Bengals to begin with, that PI on Travis Hunter, that's not PI. That's fucking textbook, excellent in-phase defensive back coverage. Like, he was perfect. So I understand why they're upset. But they were allowed the Bengals without Joe Burrow to continue to hang around and just go up and down the field. So I don't know what to say. The Jags, big win last week, fall flat on their face. Bengals start out 2-0. We have not seen that in quite some time. But I agree with your assessment, man. The Jags kind of felt like they let that one slip away rather than the Bengals went out there and snatched it away from them.
Yeah. And look, we have been highly critical of officiating since we've started the show. We hate when bad officiating kind of turns the tides of games. That being said, the reality is that the officials are human. They are going to make mistakes. It is a part of the game, whether it should be or shouldn't be, because of that human factor. And the good teams, like we've kind of talked about, rise above those issues. The bad ones sink below it. The ones that really, really strike a chord are definitely, in the playoffs and things like that, or games that decide who goes to the playoffs, and especially the ones that are like the last plays of the game to set up a team in scoring position. that's one of the reasons why, we're going to talk about that Denver game, Denver Indianapolis, why while it is a correct officiating call, it feels cheap because officiating actually took a part in the game win and loss situation. But we'll get to that one here in a little bit. Our next game up, the New York Football Giants go into Dallas and give them a hell of a fight. They take the game to overtime, but Dallas, on the leg of Brandon Aubrey, gets the win 40-37. Russ Wilson, your passing yards leader in the NFL at the end of week 2. An impressive game from the Giants. It seemed like nobody's defense showed up to play, which is surprising because the Giants defense is the better part of their team, or at least it's typically viewed that way. We knew the Cowboys offense has juice, but the Giants coming out and going blow for blow with this Cowboys team was really surprising.
I agree, and I think it's because they got like a vintage Russell Wilson performance. I mean, you go out there 30 of 41, 450 yards, and like he was throwing beautiful passes. He was just fucking letting it rip. Malik Neighbors down there somewhere, and it happened several times. They ran the ball well. Cam Scatterbo is a fucking dog, dude. They looked like they are going to be a really competitive team all year when they get good quarterback play. But they still found a way to lose this game, scoring 37 points, and Russell Wilson going fucking apeshit. The Cowboys offense has a chance to be really fucking explosive because Javonte Williams, it looks like he's healthy, and they have a running game now. They got Pickens way more involved. They should have won this game by more, I felt like. I mean, I didn't think the Giants are a very good team. I don't think a ton of the Cowboys either. But this Cowboys defense, with all the injuries in the back end, they were just letting deep pass after deep pass after deep pass. Russell was just launching rainbows.
Yeah. Look, it wasn't really till the end until Dallas kind of really started to assert themselves more with the run game. Javonte Williams, 18 rushes, 97 yards, and a touchdown. It wasn't really to the end that he kind of got more involved. With the passing game, they did finally involve George Pickens. Ferguson is a big part of that offense too, and I think having a Pickens there opens up Ferguson even more because we've seen that Ferguson is talented as a tight end, but when you're the number 2 receiver on a team, it's easier to lock a tight end down than it is another receiver. So they have to put their focus more on Pickens, and that opens up Ferguson more. And we absolutely saw that 9 catches, 78 yards from Ferguson. A great day from him. But that Dallas offense is extremely capable of putting up a lot of points and can be very dangerous because that run game is something that you actually do have to focus on. With the Giants, like you said, kind of vintage day from Russ Wilson, 30 of 41 and 450 yards. I mean,
it was
insane.
Like and you know how Russell throws his deep ball. It literally plummets from space, and it was perfect.
The thing is, and like you said, if we get good quarterback play, we could see this sort of performance from the Giants. I think that this is more so the Dallas Cowboys just don't have that great of a defense, and they don't have that great of a pass rush because that Giants offensive line is very bad. They aren't Houston Texans bad, but they're not good. And so when you don't have as much of a threat coming from that Dallas defense, that offensive line looks a lot better and allows Russ Wilson to cook. I don't know how else to put it. Like, he cooked yesterday, and that's not going to happen week in and week out. So we're going to see some of these games where we really have to pay attention to the Giants and who they are playing, specifically that defensive front. Because if it is a weaker defensive front, that's when we can start to see the Giants really outperform the expectation.
I agree, man.
All right. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. A rematch here, kind of, between the offensive coordinator of old, who's now the head coach of the Bears, versus Dan Campbell and the Lions. Lions have a get-back game here. 52-21. The game looked like it could have been a little bit closer initially, and then the Lions just pulled out a whole case of whoop-ass, kind of ran up the score. Questions mark, is there tension between Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell? I don't know. I don't really give a fuck.
So
This was just a Lions team that was asserting themselves and trying to get back on the right track after an embarrassing week 1, and they did everything right. You have Jared Goff through 2 weeks throwing for over 80% completion percentage. They are taking what's given to them. The Bears have some serious struggles, a lot of injuries on defense, but they have some serious struggles and serious things to get over. And the talk about Caleb Williams, whether or not he was worth that first overall
He
pick,
wasn't.
is
It's
going
bad,
to continue.
dude. My dad was like losing his fucking mind. Caleb has major issues with keeping his eyes down the field once the rush gets there. There were things that are open, and Rome Odunze is a really good fucking receiver. But the Lions just had way too much juice on offense. And once you get Caleb to drop his eyes and he starts trying to do playmaker shit, anything can happen. Sometimes it works great. We saw some of that in week 1 when he was playing you guys. This week, it didn't work necessarily good. 4 sacks, throws the pick. And balls were errant all over the place. I would be very, very nervous if I were Bears fans, because I don't think that Ben Johnson enjoys the Caleb Williams experience at all so far.
Yeah, that's been one of my biggest gripes with this Bears team, is that they are truly chocked full of a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Flowers where they're due. They have built a pretty damn good roster there. But the single most important part of the roster is the quarterback. And this is different between good quarterback play, bad quarterback play, and a really just bad schematic fit. And that's been my concern, is that Ben Johnson operates well with a quarterback like Jared Goff, who is able to play within the system, within rhythm, who is able to stand there in the pocket and assess and dissect things. That's not been Caleb Williams. That wasn't Caleb Williams in college. He was a physical freak, an athletic specimen, and a magic man. And people probably got too much of the Mahomesian feeling from him with some of the special things he was able to do, when more of the fundamentals of the football side needed to be progressed. And he is a year behind the 8 ball because he's didn't have any coaching last year. And now that he's got good coaching, this team is kind of set up to be competitive now, but they don't have time to develop that quarterback, especially when it's year 2 and you should have a little bit more, knowledge and experience under your belt to help you become better. And Knoxville is absolutely correct there. Those initial scripted plays, we saw it in week 1 as well. He was very good on the scripted plays. Once you get outside of the script, things really fall apart. And part of that is it's got to go on Ben Johnson too, because he's got to understand the limitations of his quarterback, and you have to find a way to work around that. It's going to be a tough season for the Bears. Like they have the players to make good things happen, and they're going to get some wins.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not going to be consistent. And that's the thing, is Caleb's not consistent. Ben Johnson needs consistency, and this team's going to lack consistency until they figure something out there with the quarterback position. And that could be Tyler Badgett.
I was just going to say Tyson Badgett. The guy that we have talked about just got his contract there as a backup. It ends up getting into this game a little bit. And listen, I think it would be incredibly hard to sell to Ryan Poles and that ownership group that it's time to move off of Caleb Williams, especially for a guy like Tyson Badgett, at least right now. Now, next year, after whatever happens, maybe they decide that I just don't know that they're going to be able to get rid of Caleb Williams this quick. 2 years, it's very rare that they do it in the NFL. Very, very rare.
Most recently, the San Francisco 49ers, could this be a Brock Purdy type situation, except for they are being too stubborn because he was the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
It's the sunk cost fallacy. We've talked about it. The Rockstar loves to champion that sunk cost fallacy. Like, at some point in time, you have to call a spade, know what you got, and try to sell while you still can. I bet you they can get picks for Caleb Williams, because a lot of teams probably were like, yeah, this guy's the best quarterback in this class. We would love to have him, but we're not even going to think about it because we're not going to be in a position to get him. The Bears are just going to take him. But they might have the opportunity to move him for even more than what Trey Lance was moved for, to a team that thinks that they can get something out of him. And I think that in a different system, Caleb Williams probably could be more successful. I just don't think this is a schematic fit, but it is going to be a super hard pill to swallow for that ownership group, for Ryan Poles. So, like, I don't see them doing it, but I would be really interested to see, and I never advocate for an injury. But if Caleb Williams goes down and Tyson Bagent goes in and starts playing really well, there's going to have to be a lot of hard questions answered.
There's going to be a lot of fucking noise in Chicago, is what will happen. And it will not be good for the culture building, and especially inside that quarterback room.
Yeah. If any of those reports that came out in the offseason about Caleb, about the coaching and stuff before, if any of those are true, and we know that there's probably a shred of truth, how close to the truth those reports are, we'll probably never know. But if there's a shred of truth to that, I bet you the team moving on from Caleb probably would breathe a sigh of relief into a lot of different people, players and coaches within that organization. And that could help the culture. That could heal the culture a little bit. I don't know, man. Look, I don't expect the Bears to do it, because once you make your bed with the first overall pick, it is a really, really tough situation to get out of. But it might be the right one.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be. But listen, Detroit's very good. They ran the ball. They ran the ball anytime they wanted to. Jahmyr Gibbs is badass. Amon-Ra St. Brown, badass. Doesn't take hits. Also incredibly smart. I used to, like, when I was younger and still playing, I was like, oh no, you got to fight for more yards. Fucking receivers should not be doing that. Get as many yards as you can and get your ass down. I need you healthy and running routes so you can get open.
Yeah. It's
let
also
the run through fucking people.
We're talking 15, 20 years ago, what your thought was. We're talking about a different breed of athlete right now, too.
100%.
So, yeah. All right, next up, we have the LA Rams, who went into Tennessee versus the Titans, and the Rams are able to get the dub there, 33-19, kind of expected. Titans put up a little bit more points than I expected them to, and we saw at least one really, really impressive throw from Cam Ward. That was, I think it was like a 15-yard throw as it shows up on the stat sheet, but it was actually like a 45-yard throw because he went across the fucking field.
It was so ill-advised. However, it worked out, so it's a great play.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Sean McVay and his Rams get the win. He goes into the blue tent, so to speak, with torn plantar fascia. We'll probably see him in a boot or on one of those little knee carts or something here going forward. But a good win for this Rams team. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams are looking like an actual really good threat there. Wide receiver duo in LA.
Yeah, man. Cam played well again. The sacks, some of those are definitely on Cam. And the touchdown pass, that play's fucking incredible. Don't ever goddamn do it again. It's like Willie Mays Hayes basket catch. Great catch, Hayes. Don't ever fucking do that again. That play is picked off 99 out of 100 times in the NFL. And that was the one. I would not be trying my luck that often with that. But you know what? It worked out. They are going to be scrappy, but the Rams are a better team, man. They're well coached, incredibly well coached. And like you said, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams make a really good tandem. They run the ball well. Everything about this Rams team tells you that they're going to be really good, competitive, and this Titans team's not ready to compete yet, even though that you got to like some of the things that you're seeing out of Cam Ward.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough year for the Titans, but that was kind of expected. This is a roster in heavy rebuild with a brand new quarterback and a young coach still, not much head coaching experience. it's a work in progress for sure. But you do see some little specks of hope possibly for your future. I just wouldn't be banking on anything this year. Next up, we have the Patriots going to Miami to play the Dolphins. And what a great press conference after the game. But the Patriots walk away with the win, 33-27. And we saw a little bit more life, I guess, from this Dolphins team. And we weren't so sure about this Pats team. We thought, hey, they're going to be improved. They played a tighter game, I guess, last week with the Raiders. But we thought, they're probably the better team because the Dolphins are just so on the outs right now. And so our feeling, I think, generally was right. Patriots get the win on this one. It wasn't a resounding win, but it was definitely damning for this Dolphins team.
Yeah, it was this game. I actually got some extra notes on this one. This game was interesting to watch. Obviously, there's a huge plays in the fourth quarter with the punt return, kick return, right back to back. But this game, well before that, Drake May was kind of balling out, and the scheme that they had going was working really well. They were running the ball efficiently. Ramondre Stevenson still looks good. I think Travion Henderson is the most explosive of the three backs that we get to see there, and Antonio Gibson, Ramondre, and all of that. But he's getting a smaller workload. Now that's okay. All those guys are talented. I think that he should be out there a little bit more. But their concepts were just killing the fucking Dolphins. They ran the rail route like 3 times with the running back, and every single fucking time it was open. And that one that Drake laid in to Ramondre out on the fingertips was absolutely beautiful. They were able to kind of get anything they wanted off of play action, and they ran the ball well. Miami is gonna grasp at straws. Tua has a fucking noodle arm, man. that deep pass down the field to Tyreek, because they were all throughout the entire broadcast talking about he's got to get over a 30-yard reception. I think he threw everything that he had into that throw. I think that bitch flew like 42 air yards. Tyreek had to stop and come back. It was like a fade stop.
Yeah, his longest of the day was 47 yards, and I'm assuming it was on that one.
Yeah, that had to. Okay, so then probably air yards, maybe 50. So I guess right there. But man, he is not going to work out with Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels is done. Obviously, if you wanted to win the game, what we should have done was win the game instead of lose the game, or whatever the fuck asinine shit came out of his mouth. I'm not 100% sure I understood it, but I know that if you want to win, you're supposed to have more points than the other team. But that didn't happen for Miami, so because of that, they lost.
It was a real Booger McFarland take, which is tough. It was tough. And look, week 1, we really, really felt like the Dolphins were cooked, but also you don't want to make crazy knee-jerk reactions after week 1. And you don't want to do crazy knee-jerk reactions after week 2 either. But this doesn't feel knee-jerky. This seems like a continual precipitous drop-off from this Dolphins team that started last year and continued and is just getting worse and worse by the week. I don't know how many players-only meetings you can have. I don't know if they're going to have a
if you have a players-only meeting after the first week, you're already fucked.
First of all, how do you let that out of the bag? You don't tell anybody that you're having a players-only meeting. But I'm waiting to hear about the coaches-only meeting or the cheerleaders-only meeting that fucking happens this week, because it's fucking kangaroo court up there. It's fucking crazy. We are on the edge of the cliff where we see our first coach firing in the NFL.
Oh, it's him for sure, and it's happening in season. There is no way he makes it all the way through.
Barring the second coming of fucking Dan Marino through Tua, I don't think it's going to happen. And they do need to seriously start considering moving players, i.e. Tariq. Like, he's got the contract and the value that is still there, that they can net something for him. He was able to show yesterday, that 2 days ago, sorry, my weekend's all fucked up, that he can still get over 100 yards, that he still can be that downfield threat. There are teams that need wide receivers like the Chiefs, that they could make a play for him. It's probably best to strike while the iron's hot and get the value that you can, because I think the writing is just on the wall on this one.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think this is going to be a very fruitful year for the Dolphins or their fans.
No.
Yeah. I think he's lost the locker room. There's no way that locker room respects him. Players only meeting after 1 week. No.
Yeah. The players only meeting very well could have been, if things don't go good in week 2, we should probably start a fucking anarchy situation here to get him out of here.
I got to tell you, I think he's fucking praying to be fired. He was so ready to be done with the situation. He wants to be fired because he's going to go out to San Francisco. He's going to become an offensive fucking consultant for this year. And then next year he'll be right back on the offensive staff.
Very, very possible.
And that sounds a lot better than being down in fucking Miami right now.
Yeah. Daddy Shanahan, take me back.
Yep.
And speaking of Daddy Shanahan, the San Francisco 49ers go out to Louisiana playing the Saints, and they get themselves a dub as well on the back of Mac fucking Jones.
Yeah.
49ers get the win 26-21. Mac Jones has himself a pretty decent day. Yes, a couple blunders in there for sure. He is a backup quarterback at this point in his career. But 26-39, 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a bad day for Mac Jones. Saw a decent running day from Christian McCaffrey. Decent running back day overall, receiving, running, so on and so forth. Spencer Rattler is showing that he can play average NFL quarterback football back there for sure. But still, the Saints team is kind of unimpressive at this point. But a decent little win there for the 49ers.
Yeah, so we had 49ers money line here, and obviously felt good about that. But the Saints team has a chance to be maybe a little bit better. They could have won this game. They missed some opportunities, and it wasn't necessarily Spencer's fault. His wide receivers let him down several times, as did his offensive line. Spencer Rattler is playing at a much higher level than I think people are giving him credit for. The Saints are making him look way worse than he's actually playing right now. I was pretty impressed when I was watching this. Now, Mac Jones, everybody's like, oh, man, Mac Jones did all these great things. Mac Jones started this game like shit. He looked awful to start this thing. Now, he started to get into a little bit of a rhythm there at the end, but he also put the ball in harm's way a lot in this game. So let's not start thinking that, oh, man, Mac Jones could be the guy. That's never going to happen. Brock Purdy is a much better quarterback and a better athlete. Mac Jones will work in this system because he understands how to layer the ball, and that's what you need because there's a ton of levels concepts in Stefanski's fucking system. But I'm sorry, not Stefanski, Shanahan, yes. But they run fucking basically the same thing. Yeah, so Mac Jones played well. They got the win. I would not anybody thinking that Mac Jones is going to end up taking Brock Purdy's spot. That's not going to happen.
No, absolutely not. Especially, I mean, Purdy just got paid. They are very invested. That's not the sunk cost fallacy so much. That is just a financial obligation at this point that you got to.
And I don't think that you could trade him with how much guaranteed money he's got.
Yeah, very, very correct. And you talk about the Saints having some wide receiver issues there. Well, they go out and they make a trade for Jalen Polk with the Patriots. So maybe a little bit of help coming. Real interesting, though, looking at that Patriots draft class from the year prior, almost all completely gone at this point. Guys who are injured or traded or gone. They have really, really fucking cleaned house there. It goes to show you that a bad draft doesn't have to damn your team, but It could,
but can.
can for sure. But good coaches and things like that will help help you persevere. And it's also why you shouldn't look at that sunk cost fallacy and stick with guys who you don't think are going to work for your scheme or system. Next up, Bills go into New York versus the Jets. They get the dub. Josh Allen breaks his nose, and Justin Fields gets a concussion, is in the protocol. Bills get the win 30-10. Generally expected really good day from James Cook, over 100 yards, 2 tuds, and didn't have to do a whole lot on the shoulders of Josh Allen in this one.
Yeah, no, I was actually really disappointed with this game. I had an over in this game, but Josh Allen breaks his nose. Fucking Justin Fields goes in the concussion protocol. Like, there was just not going to be money points scored in this game, and that sucked because I thought there was going to be a potential that there could be. But this Jets offense becomes completely neutered, and it's not Tyrod's fault necessarily, but he is not the same weapon at quarterback running as Justin Fields is. So when they lose that threat, this Jets offense is going to be way, way throttled back. And we saw that. I mean, they were able to get a little bit going. Tyrod got a touchdown pass, but everything was really slow. And the Bills' defense is pretty good. But the injuries in this game were the huge storyline. And then James Cook kind of had his little crazy, like the slowest looking long run I've ever seen, where he just made people miss somehow. It didn't even look like he was running.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah,
Jets D. And look, we look back to week 1, Jets and Steelers, and that was a game that had a lot of scoring and made us question about two teams that you typically view their defenses as being pretty good, but they allowed a lot of points. But maybe just both those defenses were bad, because that takes us into our next game, the Seahawks versus the Steelers, and that Steelers defense looked atrocious again. Seahawks get the win, 31-17. Sam Darnold has himself a decent little day, and the Seahawks finally got the running game going, what we had expected in week 1. They were absolutely able to do in week 2, and that defense for the Steelers just did not look good.
Yeah, no, they did not look good. I do want to give a shout out, the guy who's on today's episode's thumbnail, my new favorite player, Robbie Oots, fullback, just an absolute fucking savage, putting, I don't even remember who it was, putting 2 dudes on their back for the Steelers in one play, 2 pancakes, 1 block, was incredible. Sam Darnold outplayed Aaron Rodgers in this game. Aaron Rodgers is not very good at the football right now. He made some decent throws in this game. He also made some boneheaded decisions. The offensive line's still not great. Now, I do think that the Steelers made the right decision in keeping Jaylen Warren over Najee Harris, because Jaylen Warren is explosive as fuck. That was one thing that you definitely noticed watching this game. We talked about the running game. Kenneth Walker finally got it going. He needs to be the primary guy. Like, they tried to split carries here. Charbonnet, 15 carries, 10 yards. Kenneth Walker, 13 carries, 105. And the way the play calling was, every fucking time Charbonnet came into the game, I knew he was getting the ball. Down distance position, everything was set up exactly the same every fucking time he came in. So the play calling in Seattle is screwing their running game as well, but also Kenneth is more explosive than Zach is. Plain and simple. That's the way it is. You look at the tape and you can see it. But Kenneth Walker had a great fucking day. Sam Darnold, they win despite some of his dumbass mistakes as well.
Yeah. Next up.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Steelers. You guys are fucking stupid. The greatest touchdown in the history of touchdowns scored by the Seahawks to make you guys look so dumb on national TV. Dude doesn't even touch the ball. Lets it roll into the end zone. Seattle picks it up. Touchdown on the kickoff. It was incredible. It was like, oh my goodness. I have never seen this happen at any level where that is actually a touchdown. and then it happens at the NFL. Amazing.
Yeah. Hey, players are people too. Make dumb mistakes.
I blame the coaches. I blame the coaches on that one. The special teams coach.
Well, it's Caleb Johnson is apparently not going to be doing return duties anymore. So
he was taken out of the game after that happened.
They are blaming him. Also, it makes you kind of question because the Steelers team, which we were expected to be heavily predicated on the run, yes, Jalen Warren is good, but you did spend a high pick on Caleb Johnson. You would assume that you'd use him, but it's just been Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell up there. And I believe it was 1 carry for Caleb Johnson.
For 1 yard.
Yeah, which is very curious what the plan is going forward with him. Sometimes it does take rookie running backs a little bit to get going. Maybe that's what's going on in New England with Trevion Henderson. Maybe they're saving him a little bit, waiting for him to get his feet under him a little bit more as a running back. Maybe that's what's happening with Caleb Johnson, but still, it is concerning to me that he's not getting that play, and he's more of a special teams guy, which never was his forte in college. He was more of that bruising back that's going to wear you down over time. So something definitely to watch there with that running back situation. But next up, your Browns versus the Ravens. Ravens get the dub in this one. I think we probably both generally expected it. I know you took the points, but
I did.
This was a bit of a blowout, 41-17. I have not had a chance to watch this game, so I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, there's really not much to watch. The offense is stagnant, as per usual, under Kevin Stefanski. Shout out for the sponsorship today, Kevin. Appreciate that. But your offense sucks dick at this point. So the running game has a chance to be good. Quinshon Judkins was explosive, 10 carries, 61 yards. But we're not really getting a lot of deep shots. We're not getting chunk plays. The deep dig that is like one of the fucking staples of this Stefanski offense is not. We have not really hit that at all for big chunk yardage. It's been kind of stagnant. Dylan Gabriel went into the game and immediately looked more competent than what Joe Flacco was doing. We don't have enough juice on offense. And then when you turn the ball over or you have, fucking special teams miscues deep in your own end zone, deep in your own territory, you're going to set your defense up for failure. Now, Miles had some critical things to say about, I think, coaching the defense, everything. And he's justified in saying all of that. I mean, he should be a vocal leader. I hope that he calls people out. Now, he needs to keep his ass on side, but that's not why we lost 17-41. We lost 17-41 because our offensive play calling and our offensive game is so detrimental to the other aspects of our fucking team that I don't understand how we're going to get a win anytime soon because our schedule is fucking brutal. We got the Packers next, and after that, I believe it's the Lions and then the Vikings. So we are looking down the barrel of an 0-5 start right now. And if that's the case, you got to start getting rookies. You better start coming up with a plan for when rookies are going to start getting these reps and start playing these games. Because we're not going to be competing this year, very clearly. Our defense is good. I mean, they held Derrick Henry to 23 yards on 11 carries. Fucking Lamar Jackson was pretty average looking for a half of football. They were out on the field for fucking forever. We can't win games like that. We haven't scored 20 points on offense in like fucking over, I think, almost a year now. With Kevin Stefanski calling the offense. Something's got to give. I'm done on Kevin. I'm out on Kevin. Fucking, I don't know, man. McDaniels? No, I can't do that either. He's depressed in Miami. He'll fucking hate Cleveland. But yeah, I'm ready to move on from that. We need to figure out what's going to happen with these rookie quarterbacks. Jerome Ford should be cut. I don't know where else to go. It's it was embarrassing after, because you can kind of see the dejection on everybody's face and the demeanor as that game wore on. They're not feeling it right now.
Yeah. Well, look, you say staring down the barrel of a 0-5 start. Fifth game might be open to you there, but we'll get to that because we'll get to my Vikings struggles here in a little bit. But next up, we'll get to the Broncos struggles. Broncos go into Indianapolis versus the Colts and get the win. Oh, psych. We have a leverage penalty on a last-second kick, and the Colts end up with the win, 29-28. The story of this game is that last play. Again, it feels a little cheap when the officiating gets involved. However, my understanding of leverage definitely was updated because, like you kind of talked prior to the show starting, leverage you feel like is a player being lifted up, but it also involves the defender jumping over the long snapper. I understood this from watching a podcast, a lineman's podcast today, former NFL lineman talking about this specifically. And they all said basically the same thing. Sucks to have that happen on the last play of the game. It feels cheap. However, it was absolutely the right call. And it is something that is apparently pounded into these players' heads on special teams. Do not jump over the line if you are anywhere close to that long snapper because you will be called for a leverage call, which ended up putting the Colts closer and gave them a second shot at that field goal, which they were able to successfully complete. Daniel Jones potentially has to be talked about in week 2 in the MVP conversation because of how he's performed. The Colts have yet to punt through 2 weeks. Tyler Warren looks like the real deal.
Oh, he is.
Jonathan Taylor looks like he is back to his old form, going up against a very staunch defense with the Broncos. Maybe a little over aggressive at times, but they did a damn good job. The Colts kept this game down to the wire and did just enough to get the win. And now you have some serious question marks again about this Broncos team, Bo Nix, how he performed. How did you think that Bo Nix performed in this game, Mike?
I think he performed, okay.
Better than last week.
Yes, better than last week, but not as good as we have seen Bo Nix play. This is an average run-of-the-mill performance for a starter-level quarterback. And normally that's good enough for them to win because their defense is so good.
Yeah, 22 of 30, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, sure, there were mistakes, but he didn't take sacks. Like, this came down to the fact that Colts got the ball last. I think the real storyline is the fact that the Colts offense is fucking legit because this Broncos defense is supposed to be pretty goddamn legit, we think. I don't think that the Broncos defense is terrible. I don't think because they've played the Colts. I think back-to-back weeks now, we've seen this Colts offense be pretty goddamn explosive with Daniel Jones at the helm. So I think that's the storyline. I don't know if it's that Bo Nix, sure, he threw a pick. Mistakes happen, but I think the big storyline out of this is that how well the Colts were able to stay in this thing. When you get your running back able to tote it damn near 30 times for over $150, like that also makes your day pretty easy.
Yeah. And look, we weren't sure of how things are going to turn out with this Colts team because week 1 was versus Miami, just a terrible team, terrible defense. Versus the Broncos, we knew it was going to be much more of a test because it's a good defense with a competent offense, and they were able to hold their own and get the W. But they're playing the Titans next week in Tennessee, but they're playing the Titans next week. And the way they've played these first 2 weeks, they should be able to get the dub there. Their first real test, I think, outside of this Broncos game is going to be going up against the Rams in LA. And we know this Rams team is going to be pretty good. They're going to give them a good test. But look, if they're probably going to start off at worst 3-1 throughout the year. Daniel Jones, again, I think like it is way too early for this, but like if we're going to have MVP talks already, he's got to be in there because he's playing lights out.
Yeah, he is, man. Not what I had on the bingo card, but Daniel Jones is balling right now.
Yeah. Next up, Panthers and Cardinals in Arizona. Arizona is able to get the win, 27-22. This one a little bit closer there. A good stat day, if you want to call it that, from
I mean,
Bryce
he
Young.
threw for a lot of yards, but he also threw it 55 fucking times.
Yeah. And look, we look at the previous game with Bo Nix, way less pass attempts, not as much yardage, but another 3 touchdown, 1 interception day. And you have Bryce Young, 55 passes for an average of 6 yards, which is relatively 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. It seems like this Carolina team just wanted to not use the run game at all, try to attack the pass game against this Cardinals team, and it just was not the answer. Not that the Cardinals ran too good, but I believe this Panthers team is definitely kind of teetering on being one of those, bottom 5 teams, I think, in the NFL right now, because it was just that is not a good game script to only fucking throw the ball.
Yeah, I agree. 55 passes for Bryce Young seems excessive, especially going up against the Cardinals. Now, they didn't run the ball effectively when they were running it, so I understand kind of getting away from it. And they were also behind basically the entire fucking game. So they were going to have to work their way back. The score is closer than the game was, for the most part. I was starting to get a little nervous. The Cardinals might actually shit this thing away. But, I mean, the idea of having to throw it that many times is not good. But when you consider how far down they were for basically the whole fucking game, it makes a little bit of sense. They have got to get into a rhythm earlier and find a way to run the ball earlier. Otherwise, Bryce is going to be thrown into a situation like this where he'll put up great numbers, but you're not going to win games like this with Bryce Young throwing it 55 times. Just not going to happen.
Nope. All right, next up, we have Super Bowl rematch, Eagles versus the Chiefs in Kansas City. Eagles get the win 20-17. That Chiefs offense does not look great. Not running the ball good. Don't have the receivers to have the passing game be effective. Mahomes might be magic, but he can't do it all himself. And the tush push, illegal tush push, reigns supreme.
So illegal.
The stuff on social media highlighting the craziness of having both your guards get off before the ball is snapped. 6 players offsides on that line. The NFL is going to crack down on this sooner or later, we would think.
Yeah. I texted you while watching this. I was like, there's no fucking way that they're not going to ban this play next year. If you like, all of the evidence shows that basically everything about this is illegal in the way they're executing it. They're getting off early. They're hovering over the ball. It's wild. It is a rugby scrum, which it is a very, very effective play for them. Jalen Hurts gets in damn near every time they run this thing. It's so ass, especially with the way it's now working and how it's configured, especially with all the camera angles we see of this. Get rid of this shit. I was not in favor of necessarily getting rid of a play just because people couldn't stop it. But if it's gonna be run like this, this shouldn't be allowed.
I'm just curious to see it officiated correctly and see if it is still as advantageous as it has been for this Eagles team. Because we actually saw another team, I don't recall which one, that attempted a tush push or was setting up to attempt a tush push, and the officials actually went and started pushing some of the offensive linemen back, which seems a little shady too. But like, they went up to him and were like, no, you guys are offsides. They were pushing them back to get them in more of a correct position, which I feel like, hey, let them run the play, fucking flag them. You gotta learn. But that my true curiosity is what happens when all the players have to line up correctly, and when they don't false start. Other than that, look, like, it was a pretty boring day, especially from that Philly offense. You have terrible QBR from Jalen Hurts, 42.6, only throws 101 yards, 15-22, but it's enough to get the win. You got a solid running game for Saquon, but he didn't even do anything super spectacular. It was just kind of a ho-hum day from this offense, but it was absolutely enough to beat this Chiefs, who can't beat ho-hum right now, and they're getting, fiery on the sidelines already. 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
both weeks we're having players getting upset.
Well, they're not on the same page, which is weird. And the interception was Travis Kelce's fault all the way. I mean, he's got to get his head around. That's a touchdown, and they win this game. So I understand why there's some tempers flaring. The Chiefs are in a bad spot. They can't run the ball effectively. Isaiah Pacheco, a couple of years ago, we're like, Jesus Christ, who is this kid? He is incredible. We love watching this guy run. And it's not been effective recently. Nor has Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt has kind of turned into a very much goal line kind of a back. He's going to go out there and stick his head down and get you a couple. But they don't have a really explosive piece of this offense right now. Hollywood Brown might be able to help give them some juice. They're
Hollywood
not.
Brown is an effective receiver, but he is not a chain mover.
Yeah.
Okay, in the literal term, can he get you first down? Sure. But he's your only effective receiver out there, and he's not a game changer.
Now, if Tyquan Thornton learns how to run some fucking routes, or they just send his ass deep and Mahomes wings it down there, that could work. I mean, he is huge. So they need to get healthy. Health is this team's issue.
Yeah,
on offense,
sure.
in my mind.
And hey, my boy Jalen Royals might be coming back this week. We'll see. But there's been talks, of course, of Tariq out there. There's been talks about, can they bring in an OBJ? They are looking everywhere they can at the scraps to see, is there anyone available that we can try to bring in to ferry us until we get Xavier Worthy back and the suspension is done for Rashee Rice. So look, this Chiefs team 0-2 isn't a killer, but in their division, that definitely sets them back a healthy amount. And I don't think it gets any easier for them next week. Kansas City Chiefs, they're going up against the Giants. That's a winnable game for the Giants, probably, like in New York. I don't know, man. It's a tough spot to be in if you're a Chiefs fan right now. This might be a reset type of year.
Maybe. I mean, it happens. Every dynasty has those moments where they fall or they reset. Because listen, the Patriots had like two separate dynasties that were linked with a small little gap where they were only making it to the divisional round.
Right.
So if that's all that happens, like I still don't foresee them missing the playoffs. They'll probably squeak in there at the back end, but if that's the way it goes down, that's the way it goes down. They'll probably be better for it.
Yeah. All right, and that takes us to our Sunday night game. Unfortunately, my Minnesota Vikings lose at home in the home opener to the Atlanta Falcons, 22-6. The score was a lot closer than that until it was kind of that garbage time touchdown. But the big stories here, Atlanta. Look, I did not personally think Penix looked good.
I didn't think so either.
A lot of errant throws from my vantage point, which I thought I had pretty good seats. But the running game was ungodly. 218 yards on the ground from this team. Bijan Robinson, I don't know that it translates onto the screen as much as it does watching it in person. The fluidity of his hips, the way that he is able to
it's insane.
Turn and get around a corner.
He never slows down.
Very difficult. Now, I thought there was a couple holding calls there that they could have called on some of those where he bounced him to the outside. But that being said, a very, very impressive game from Bijan and a ho-hum day for Michael Penix. A good job by that Vikings defense to hold up as well as they did, albeit the running game and how well the running game was for Atlanta is definitely concerning. But man, the offense just could not get going. There's a three-way tie here for me as far as blame, and it's JJ McCarthy, Kevin O'Connell, and that offensive line. And
your fucking left tackle. You guys got to get Darisaw back as fast as goddamn possible.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that Justin School, who's been playing there at left tackle, a well-graded PFF graded tackle when he plays on the right side. Left side's more new, and obviously he's not cut out for that. But he's in concussion protocol.
Yeah, the guy that came in to
So
replace him was atrocious.
yeah, Walter Rouse came in. I would say that he was just as good. Like, I didn't think it was worse, but it wasn't good for either of them. That's not it wasn't a high bar to clear, but it was bad. And the one thing that I didn't add into that pie chart is the injuries, which is significant for this team. But look, JJ McCarthy, you can see he is still slow to process right now.
Oh, yeah.
In addition to that, I have a concern about his windup. It is slower than I want to see. But the decision making right now is tough because he isn't being quick with his decisions. That transitions me to the play calling. When you have a quarterback in shotgun and then a 3-step drop in the shotgun, which happened a lot in this game, along with long developing routes, 20 yards down the field developing routes. JJ McCarthy right now has the deepest average throw distance in the NFL, like average route run distance. It's like 10 yards. And he's the furthest of any quarterback in the NFL right now, which means the plays are long developing. They're trying to take deeper shots. And you might miss 5 out of 6 and you hit one and then it's awesome. But we're not there yet. He is, for all intents and purposes, a rookie quarterback. He's taking so many hits because, and this is where I do have questions.
Fuckload.
I don't know because we do have some good offensive linemen in there. I don't know if he
held the ball too long.
If he's
like at least 3 times.
But it's even less than that for me. I don't know if he's calling the protections wrong or the offensive line is fucking up on stuff. Now again, Justin School did a terrible job out the left side. Our center Ryan Kelly goes down. We put in Cam Jurgens, a 7th round pick from last year, who I don't exactly trust. But there was too much free pressure, and then the plays were not. He's not being done any favors right now by the play calling. And again, I love Kevin O'Connell. I think that he is one of the best at self-scouting, but he need to take a look at what he is doing with the play calls and say, I do have essentially a rookie quarterback here. We need to give him more gimmies, more quick slants and things like that.
Yeah,
also,
give him answers to the fucking test.
One of the best plays in JJ McCarthy's repertoire is the boot. I think that he is phenomenal on the boot. He was phenomenal in college on the boot, and we aren't running those right now. We saw in week 1 when they did that, he was successful, even to the point of having that naked boot run where he was able to get a touchdown. I think that they need to work in a little bit more of what he is good at and easier things for him right now because they aren't doing him any favors with play calling. And so there's JJ McCarthy, the offensive line not playing well, and some bad calls from the coaching staff.
Well, and
that being said,
go ahead, finish. Sorry.
The injuries are insane for this team right now. And that's one of the things that happens when you do have a little bit more of a veteran team. We look at this list here that I've got. CJ Hammer starting fullback on IR. Ryan Kelly, prone to concussions, out in this game with a concussion. You have Justin School, a turnstile, but he goes out of this game with a concussion. Ty Chandler, our 3rd running back, on IR with a leg injury. Jeff Okudah, a starting cornerback for us, out with a concussion. Aaron Jones, placed on IR today with a hamstring issue. And we went ahead and signed Cam Akers. Third year in a row, we got Cam Akers back on the Vikings. We got JJ McCarthy now out with a high ankle sprain, 2 to 4 weeks. I have my thoughts on that I'll get to here in a minute. Harrison Smith, undisclosed illness that he hasn't played yet and didn't play or practice in the end of training camp because of. That's been kind of held close to the chest what it is. They're saying it's a personal thing, personal illness. So we don't know what that is. All we know is that it is not life-threatening and it's not cancer. That's all that they've put out.
All right. Well, I was going to say, man, well, best wishes to Harrison, depending on what the fuck is going on.
And look, injury reports, you got to, declare certain things. This is one of those things that you don't have to declare. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a human being. He gets to have his privacy on that one.
Yeah.
Blake Cashman on IR, starting linebacker on IR with a hamstring pull. Jordan Addison suspended another game. Week 3 after week 3, he'll be back. Rondale Moore out for the year, torn ACL, MCL. Gabe Murphy off the practice squad this week, playing for Andrew Van Ginkel, who was out with a concussion. Probably has a sprained or torn MCL. Christian Darrisaw coming back from the ACL, MCL, still hasn't played yet. The injuries are racking up tremendously on this team. And they're going to get healthier. Those guys are going to come back from concussion. I expect Van Ginkel to be back next week. I expect Okudah to be back next week. Hopefully, Ryan Kelly can be back next week. Hopefully, Christian Darrisaw will be back from that ACL, MCL from last year this coming week. JJ McCarthy, though, with the high ankle sprain, that's a tough one. It's a tough one for me because, look, he hasn't played well.
No,
he's
really.
Looked bad for all but one quarter. 1 out of 8 quarters so far this year, he hasn't looked good. And I think that I still have a lot of faith in him. I just think that the play calling stuff hasn't done him favors. He got so beat up in that game. He just got fucked up bad. And some of that is on him, but also we got to do better with the play calling to not get him hurt. But my concern now is that we are going to put in Carson Wentz. And I am almost willing to bet money that Carson Wentz is going to have a banger game. He's going to fucking come in.
He's going to look better than JJ McCarthy because he's been in the league long enough. He's going to understand how to recognize shit, and he's going to know to get the ball out.
And I think KOC is going to call a different game because he knows this guy. We signed him a month ago. He's going to call a different game for him, where he should have been calling that different game for JJ from the get-go, probably. We also should have been focusing so much more on the run, especially with Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason can be effective as a runner if we utilize him correctly. And now we're going to be forced to, because Aaron Jones is out, Ty Chandler is out. We got Cam Akers coming in as a third running back and an undrafted rookie coming in as the backup. So you're going to see a lot more Jordan Mason this week. If Carson Wentz goes out there and looks good for a couple weeks, what do you do with JJ? I want to continue to play him and to continue to develop him.
You have to find out if he can play.
There's still going to be some questions. This is the thing that I want Vikings fans to keep in mind is that this is 2 weeks in. We are a heavily injured team. We did some bad play calling, and you should have faith in Kevin O'Connell to be able to adjust because he's shown the ability to do that in the past. He's shown to be able to develop quarterbacks well in the past. You look at JJ McCarthy, and through 2 weeks, his quarterback rating is around 68. His QBR is around 68. And for those of you who don't know QBR, the best score that you can get is 158.3. All right, that's perfect game territory. The bar at 100 for QBR means that you are doing very good to great. If you're 100 or above, very good to great game. 75 for a QBR means that you are replacement level, like probably should be a backup. And again, JJ through 2 games has been 68. All right. But I'm going to throw some names out here for you. And I know that you can do the argument of there's a lot of guys who fit into this that I'm not going to name who didn't have good careers. But through 5 games, these quarterbacks all had QBRs of under 75. Peyton Manning, Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Sam Bradford, Donovan McNabb, Joe Flacco, Carson Palmer, Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck, Bo Nix, Eli Manning, Alex Smith, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, John Elway, Randall Cunningham, Boomer Esiason, Bernie Kosar, Drew Bledsoe, and there's more and more and more. Out of those names listed, over 30% of them are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. And those quarterbacks account for 26 of the NFL's Super Bowls. They appeared in 26 of the NFL Super Bowls. Quarterbacks do not start off perfect. Patrick Mahomes is an outlier. Jaden Daniels, for the most part last year, is an outlier. Yeah. You have to let these quarterbacks take their lumps, mature. It takes time. JJ McCarthy has played 2 games. He's had 1 good quarter out of 2 games, and he needs that time to develop. The team put a C on his chest for a reason, because I think that the players know that he's got what it takes, but he needs to mature. He needs to develop. He needs those reps. And that's why I hope he gets to continue having that chance when he comes back from this high ankle sprain. Now, part of me thinks that maybe he's fucking Wolverine, because it seems like he takes a lump, he takes a hit, he gets fucked up, and then he bounces back even better. We saw that in week 1, where it took him getting that fucking bad pick 6, and then all of a sudden he was lights out afterwards. I feel like he's going to come back from this with a different reinvigoration. Also, the guy just had a baby. For what it's worth, maybe he didn't get a whole lot of sleep. Also, there's reports that after you have a baby, for the first 72 hours, men's testosterone dips 30 to 50%. Just saying. But I think that they're saying 2 to 4 weeks, and the Vikings typically are slow to bring people back from injury. But I think KOC is going to want to get him back out on the field as soon as possible when he's ready to go. My hope is that maybe he could come back after this week, but we'll see. After 2 weeks, maybe we'll be in Europe, and you might get to play against your Browns.
Maybe.
But until then, it's Carson Wentz's show. Hopefully, he can do well enough to get us the dub versus the Bengals this coming week. But I don't know, man. It was a tough game to watch. It just the offense was so anemic. It was. I kept saying to Hannah in the stands, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and that's exactly what KOC said in his end of game press conference. Feels like we're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And a lot of that, I think, is going to have to be self-scouting, looking internally and saying, we aren't setting JJ up for success. Not everyone can come out and beat Patrick Mahomes and throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in their first year as a starter. But I think JJ's got it in him to be a very good quarterback. We just have to not have a team fail a young quarterback in this situation. So for Vikings fans, we need to take a breath. We need to understand injuries are going to come back, and that we're going to self-scout well. This coach has shown the ability to do that, and I think we can going forward.
So a couple quick things. Then we'll move on to these Monday night games. Get the fuck out of here. Michael Penix, listen, very same thing, very similar things that you were just saying about JJ. He did not play well. I don't think he played well at all. And I don't know why people would be contending that he did. He had a lot of misses. But that doesn't mean that he's going to be bad. I just don't think that he's going to make the Falcons team uber competitive this year. Their running game might do that because Bijan's fucking incredible. He is what we hoped Reggie Bush would be when he got to the NFL. He fucking runs just like that. It's so fluid, so smooth. And then one last thing for you guys. You talked about, JJ taking all these hits and him being good on the boot. One of the best ways to protect your quarterback and to kind of get him into the rhythm is to move the fucking pocket a little bit, give him some easy answers, give him some easy completions. That is something that should have been happening. There's one thing that I didn't understand about the play calling that was going on with you guys. So, you guys got a little bit of work to do. We'll see how Carson does, and let's roll on to the Monday night games, brother.
Yeah, and look, I know that you got a thing with the Falcons fans out there. Got to look, Penix, I don't think had the greatest game, but I still give him his flowers. 13 and 21, 135. They got the win.
They won.
They did enough to win. So
you run for over 200 yards. I mean, you should.
You see a lot of talent there with Penix. He's got to get some of the accuracy stuff down. But again, he didn't start all last year. He started a couple games. He's not a rookie, but he's damn near close, and he's going to get better. He's going to develop. I think that he's going to be a good quarterback. Not his best game, but enough to get the dub, and that's all that really matters in the NFL. So last 2 games, Monday night games, we have the Buccaneers and the Texans. Bucks get the win, 20-19 there on Baker Mayfield, just clutching up, putting his nuts out. Looked like he got seriously injured for a second, and then he remembered, wait a second, my job isn't to get injured. My job is to talk shit. So he bounced up and immediately got in the face of a defender. Fucking love the moxie. That's a guy that you fucking want to play for as a quarterback if you're part of that Bucs team. big loss there for Kalijah Cansey going down for the year with the Bucks. But again, Texans have a very good defense. Daniil Hunter looks like the fucking dude. Who's the other number 55, that linebacker for him? That was a first round pick. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Something junior.
Yeah. Will something.
Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah. Fucking awesome. That defense is very good. An offensive line for the Texans is not very good. And there was a couple of passes to Nico that probably should have been better overall. But look, props to the Bucks. Gritty wins are good wins. And they've shown it 2 weeks in a row now that they have what it takes to, at the end of a game, drive down the field and get that dub.
Yeah, man. Baker came in clutch. They were able to go down. The Texans are a good team. Baker finally is starting to be that dude. He's starting to be a franchise guy. His contract is getting ready to come up here. He's going to be getting a fat fucking new contract because the Bucks love him. Tampa loves him. I think he loves it down there as well. The connection between him and Ibuka is going to be great for a very long time. That team is going to be very, very good. And listen, I was happy to see Nick Chubb get in the end zone. I had a Nick Chubb anytime TD that paid me a nice chunk because I felt very good about that Nick Chubb anytime touchdown. Their offensive line is terrible. And it's so difficult to watch. CJ Stroud try to make something happen, and they're just pissing in the wind because they can't block. This right now feels very similar to what's happening with the Browns, but I don't think it's the ineptitude of their play calling or the personnel or anything like that. It's just that, well, I guess it is their personnel. Their offensive line is killing them. If they can figure that, they need to go out, draft some more offensive line this year. They will have a chance to compete, make a playoff run, but with the way the Colts look right now, the Texans are very far behind already in that division. 2 games back. That Colts team is looking to be pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Our last game of Monday night, doubleheader. Chargers and Raiders in Vegas. Chargers get the win 20-9. A real bad night for Geno. 3 interceptions. Chargers, Justin Herbert still looking the part, looking really good. Keenan Allen again looking the part like his old self. I'm a little concerned with the Chargers' inability to run inside between the tackles right now. But so far, it hasn't been a problem because they've been lights out otherwise. That defense also scares me a little bit with now the lack of pass rush. Bosa's gone. Obviously, Khalil Mack, dislocated elbow, probably going to be out for some time. And Bud Dupree, while he's a good defensive end, I don't think that he's the guy that you can completely focus on. But right now, this Chargers team looks very dominant, very good. And they get the dub here on the Raiders.
Yeah, so I got some extra notes on this one. It was a tough night for Geno, but it could have been so much worse. He put the ball in danger all night. I mean, he threw 3 picks. There could have been more. He could have thrown 5 or 6 with how much he put the ball in danger. Ashton Jeanty is fucking awesome to watch, though. I love watching that kid run the ball. He should probably take care of himself a little bit more. You cannot make a whole career out of doing that in the NFL. But he will put his shoulder into you and lay you the fuck out. He will run right through your face, Marshawn Lynch style. Like, he does not care. If Johnston can continue to catch the ball, the receiving core for the fucking Chargers is actually really goddamn good and scary. You got Ladd working in the underneath slot routes. You got a guy who is an excellent route runner, will move the sticks and catch the fucking ball in Keenan Allen. And a guy, if he's going to actually be able to get downfield and catch it, I mean, a deep, like somebody to take the top off to let those other guys work underneath. I mean, this Chargers offense can really fucking go. He catches another touchdown. I mean, there are still a lot of warts with him, but if he becomes a more consistent receiver, sky is the limit for this offense. Now, one of my big questions, I wrote it down, is will Omarion Hampton ever get in the fucking end zone? Because it feels like the answer is no. Because every time they do get down there, they run inside zone and they get no yards ever. And they basically ran it to him like 4 straight times, and got stopped every time. At some point that kid's gonna get in the end zone. I've had anytime touchdowns on him fucking both weeks now. He's gonna get in the end zone at some point. But yeah, that team is really good. The Raiders have a chance to be good, but when you have a quarterback do what Geno did, you're not going to win. You can't win like that.
Yeah, real tough day for Geno at home in that one. But that wraps up our week 2 recap. But we still have one more game to talk about. We got our Thursday night game that's coming up here. We're going to be getting you the odds for everything off of FanDuel and giving you guys our thoughts. The game is the much maligned Miami Dolphins going to Buffalo when it's still nice out, playing that Bills team that's on a little bit of a roll right now. Big spread. Bills minus 11.5 points, over under of 49.5. They're expecting some points to be put up here. I don't know if I'm sold on that one because I don't know if that Dolphins offense is even as good as the Jets offense, despite the fact that Justin Fields went down and only 40 points got put up in that game. Josh Allen expected to probably be wearing a clear visor for that game to help protect his schnoz. Makes sense since he just broke that nose. But, Mike, I feel like we probably are going to be leaning in generally the same direction in this one. I'm just going to get it out of the way. Bills money line for me because I don't want to touch that over under a 49.5. If I did, I'd probably be going with the under because I don't think the Bills are going to have to put up an insane amount of points. I think they're going to get themselves ahead and just keep that comfortable lead. And I don't know that the Dolphins are going to be able to play well against this defense. And I definitely don't want to drop 11.5 points because I hate double-digit spreads.
Yeah, I kind of figured that where you would be going with the Bills money line. I'm actually going to get a little crazy. I'm going to drop the 11.5. I am so done out on the Dolphins team. You know what? They showed a little bit of life this last week, but they didn't do enough to win the game, so they lost it. Because when you don't score more points than the other team, typically that's what counts as a loss. So I think that they're probably not going to have enough points this time either, and I think it'll probably be less than like more points than 12. So they probably won't do good. So they're done, dude. He's gonna get fired. Bills minus 11.5.
All righty, the ballsy play. But look, we've been doing good on our bets, so we're allowed a ballsy play here and there.
Every once in a while, you got to take a shot, and I'm taking mine right here.
I hear you. But with that, I believe that's our show.
That will wrap it up, brother. Thank you very much. Love the hat. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We appreciate you guys very much. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you give some of it to us, we are forever grateful. We are going to be back Saturday, I believe, this week for our gambling show. So stay tuned. We'll let you know exactly what time that's going to be coming out on Saturday. I do like Raw Dog and Nooners, though. And then I'm going to give Evo his one last word before we get the fuck out of here. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you for everyone that has supported my wife on that TikTok, but also to all you fucking weirdos out there that are sending her the nasty messages on TikTok because she's a fucking smoke show. Fuck you. How about that?
Guys, you're not going to get to Raw Dog any of the people from Raw Dog Sports, all right? Just be respectful, goddammit. Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We love you. We will see you guys on Saturday. We're getting the fuck out of here.